Hi everyone, welcome to Draw with Jan channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw and color a bird using colored pencils. I have used Carandache color pencils for this. Please use any color pencils that you have, preferably a pack of at least 48 colored pencils. I'm also going to show you how to use a solvent for blending colored pencils. Let's get started. Let's begin by drawing an outline for the bird. The size of my drawing is 3.5 inches in width and 4.5 inches in length. I have divided my page into 4 quadrants, which makes it very easy for me to draw the bird. For the quadrants, use the same measurement in the reference picture and your drawing. Finally, after drawing, make sure to erase and make it as light as possible so that it's not visible while you color. I'm just blocking in the colors for the first layer of shading. This is the base layer, so do not apply too much pressure while you're shading. Pay attention to the highlights, midtones and darker shades and follow those patterns to the extent possible. I'm also marking the outline for the wings as I'm shading. Base layer is complete and I'm now focusing on more details in shading the head. I'm using black and blue to create those tiny blocks on the bird's head. This is just the second layer of shading, so just focus on getting the underlying shading right. Don't worry too much about the highlights at this point. I'm now blocking in the colors for the orange fluffy area on the bird's head. The eye is pretty simple, I'm just using black to shade the eye. As you can notice, shading the area around the eye is very important to bring out the depth in the eye. The blue pattern here is similar to the one at the top. For now, I'm not focusing on the highlights, I'm just blocking in the colors. Now moving on to the next layer of shading for the wings. I'm using 3 shades here, light blue, dark blue and black. For now, we are just focusing on getting the base shading pattern right. Don't focus too much on the highlights, we're going to define them later. I'm going to use a solvent before defining the highlights, and I'm going to show you how to use the solvent now. I'm just creating the base layer like what we just did for the bird's wings. I'm not really focused on blending the colors at this point because we're going to use a solvent for that. Make sure to get the directions of the stroke right. Now adding another layer with a dark blue color. I'm now using black to define the outline for the wing. Before using the solvent, just make sure to get all your base layers in. The solvent is going to break down the wax binder in the colored pencils and allow the pigments to blend, which creates a really smooth finish to the drawing. So before using the solvent, I'm just trying to define as much details as possible. I'm now using a solvent with a regular watercolor paint brush. I'm using turpentine and I've posted the details of the material used in the description of this video. You can also use any odorless mineral spirit for this purpose. As you can see, it blends in your colors so well. And while it is still damp, I'm going to use a white color pencil to create those highlights. The tooth of the paper is now so smooth that you can easily define those highlights. I'm now using black around the white areas to further highlight it. The paper is still damp And without applying any pressure, it is so easy to draw these lines now. You can get to any level of detailing that you want to. As you can notice, it gives a watercolor effect to your drawing. For smaller drawings, I prefer to use color pencils with a solvent rather than watercolors because you get so much control over your color pencils and it is so easy to define these tiny details in your drawing. For larger paintings though, it can get really difficult to cover larger areas using your colored pencils, so it is preferable that you use watercolors for larger drawings. You can keep adding details to your drawing. Since the surface of the paper is really smooth now, you can add as many layers of detailing as you want to. I'm also using a white pen to further define those highlights very clearly. Adding those tiny lines here and there for the feathery effect. Now back to our main drawing. I'm using the exact same technique that I just showed you in detail. The paper is now damp and this allows me to define those highlights very clearly. However, make sure not to add too much of solvent in your paper because it can spoil the quality of the paper. If you're not sure about how much solvent to use, first try it out in a different sheet of paper. First take a little amount of solvent in your brush, try creating those highlights, keep increasing the quantity of solvent until you feel comfortable about adding those highlights. From now, I'm just going to show you a time-lapse video of the drawing because it's pretty much the same technique throughout the drawing. Found this video useful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for watching more drawing videos. Thank you and see you soon.